Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of my 5-day informational series on prediabetes and how we're going to beat this. Today I'm going to briefly touch on what's called insulin resistance. And why is this so important? Well, when we age or we're a little overweight or have a predisposition to diabetes, we're at risk of insulin resistance. And what's the consequence of this? Many and huge. For example, if you're pre-diabetic, you run the risk of actually becoming type 2. Ramifications of that are stroke, heart disease, fatty liver, gallbladder disease. There's numerous cancer associated with this, as well as arthritis and even gout. So it's vitally important that we don't become insulin resistant, because that only leads to dire consequences, something none of us want. I know I don't want it. So what are 3 main things that we can do today, now, to prevent this ugly insulin resistance from even happening? Number 1 is we could all reduce the fat in our diet, especially if you eat processed foods, which I know they're so convenient and so easy to get a hold of. But if we can start cutting down on processed foods, which are loaded with fat, saturated fats that are not good for our body, and eliminate that from our diet alone, would make a huge difference. You know, there's a lot of really good fats out there that are really strongly indicated to support a healthy diet, but it's not the kind that we're going to get eating a hamburger in a restaurant or stopping at McDonald's for a quick burger. It's just not that way. So we need to reduce the terrible fats and up the good fats. The second thing is exercise. I know, again, it's so hard to get out during the day to go for a walk. You have to make it part of your routine. It's a mindset thing. And if we can just start moving our bodies, walking is amazing. Yes, it might take a little bit of time out of your day, but the benefits are huge, not only for you physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. So the second thing we can do is to get out and walk, get out and move. It can be any kind of exercise. And number 3 is a biggie, and it's a hard one. It's a hard nut to crack. And that is to eliminate or reduce sugar. And that includes artificial sweeteners. You know why it's so hard? Well, for number 1, it's totally addicting. The food industry knows that. One of the things that happens when we eat sugar is it sends a message to our brain, oh my gosh, this tastes so good, and it releases serotonin, which is a happy neurotransmitter, right? It makes us feel good. So what do? We start eating more sugar. We like the feeling that we get when we eat it. I know I do. And so it becomes this vicious cycle. We eat sugar because we feel good. And we feel good, so we eat more sugar. And in the meantime, especially if you're 40 years or older, we start putting on weight a lot easier than we did before. And if we continue with the same habits that we could burn off when we were younger and now we can't, we're going to start gaining weight. And especially if you gain weight around the middle, that's another indicator of possibly might be going down the road towards prediabetes. So just to sum up real quickly, today we talked about insulin resistance and some of the major diseases that can come of it. I also briefly touched on 3 different things that we could start even today to change this insulin resistant pattern in our lives. Number 1, let's start moving. Let's get out there and start walking, or whatever kind of exercise makes you happy. Whatever you want to do, all we need to do is move our bodies. Number 2, reduce the fat in your diet. Part of that is eliminating processed foods. That one act alone would be huge to change your diet. Finally, if we could reduce the amount of sugar that we eat every day in our diet, we would see a huge impact not only in our health, but in our waistline. This isn't easy. Trust me, I know. I was addicted to Diet Cokes for years and was able to get off that habit, but it was harder than when I quit smoking cigarettes. It is not an easy addiction to give up. So, even if you can start to reduce your sugar intake, it will have a huge impact on your life and your health. I hope you enjoyed this little series today. Tomorrow we're going to hit on some more big topics, so I can't wait to see you then. Have a good day. Get out and move. I know I will. Ciao.